So when I was a kid, earned run average right around a 3 was considered really good. Well, of course, earned run averages are going up, but there's another number in town that's pretty important, I think, in this day and age of analytics, and it's called FIP, Fielding Independent Pitching. And Sig, we were talking about it, really how important it is and how you kind of evaluate pitchers through these numbers.
Yeah. I think like any of the modern statistics, it's trying to get at the underlying skill of the player a little bit better than the more conventionals. So FIP really looks hard at the things that the pitcher could control or the things that he's responsible for. So a walk and a strikeout undoubtedly are a large part of that is the responsibility of the pitcher. But that ball hit into the gap that the center fielder either tracks down or doesn't, and so it's either a double or an out. The pitcher was much less responsible for whether it was a double or an out, but that plays a big part in his ERA. And so FIP pretty much ignores the batted ball results and instead really focuses on the things the pitcher could control.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So batting average with balls in play would be something that you would probably look at in accordance with the FIP.
Yeah, and so that was some famous research maybe 20 years ago that revealed that the pitchers have very little control over what happens to the batted ball beyond whether it's hit up in the air or on the ground. While what happens to that batted ball is not only tremendously important for tonight's game, it has a tremendous effect on his ERA. And so the FIP is ignoring that, but instead trying to get at the player's underlying skill.
And you can kind of look in the past as well to kind of evaluate players as far as future trades go.
Yeah, so the purpose of getting a better idea of the player's underlying value so often is to project his value going forward. And so you want the cleanest, the most pure metrics you can. You want them to be as free from luck or the noise that exists in an ERA as possible.
So trying to get fans familiar with the actual numbers that they're going to see when they see a FIP, what would be about average for a good FIP?
So it's modeled after the ERA. It should correspond pretty well to the ERA, and although run scoring is increasing, especially in our park, the average I think is 4.5 in the league. So a 4.5 ERA and a 4.5 FIP is about average.
Yeah, very good. So, I mean, a lot of guys, I've looked at some Hall of Famers, and their FIP is right in line with their earned run average.
Yeah. So in the long run, that luck should not cancel out, but sort of become negligible. So if you've had a long career, your FIP should line up fairly well with your ERA, given you're in a somewhat neutral park. But over the course of a year or 2 years, that's not always the case.
And how about xFIP?
Yeah, so xFIP tries to get a bit more at the underlying skills. So FIP will consider, like what I said, walks and strikeouts, but also home runs. While xFIP realizes there still is some fortune of whether that ball happened to go over the fence or not, and so it really looks at the fly ball rate combined with the walks and strikeouts. So it's a little bit more accurate.